Okay. Whew. We're back. Okay. I remember one of you saying to press before started getting that stupid message consistently, which I don't know why, but that was honestly friggin' annoying. Something terrible. The defense will refrain from needlessly shouting. Sorry. I need to seriously reconsider this vocal training thing. Now, Miss Orley, can you tell us what happened? Hey, welcome back. We're back. Oh, I was so frightened. Duh, I trembled with fear. Okay. That man flew at the victim and is strangling him to death. What are you guys thinking? Press or present? But the defendant would never do such a thing. Well now, I can't say I've ever heard the defense try this tactic. If possible, please refrain from embarrassing me. Still, why would anyone do something like this over a game of poker? Perhaps it is because defendant has lost game? Yes, a crushing defeat for a man undefeated. So it always is with men like him. Winners make sore losers. Oh, how the mighty fall. Go ahead, I believe in you. Go ahead, I believe you know what it is you need to do. Right, sir, leave it to me. There were 3 people in the room at the time of the murder. The victim, Shady Smith, Mr. Wright, and if Mr. Wright isn't the killer, I've got you now, Orley. So, somewhere here there's a contradiction. Do you think you guys can find it? And no. Well, okay. Think back. They were saying that the victim was killed by being hit over the head with the bottle. However, Olga was saying that the defendant strangled him. Remember? Because they were saying how... Yeah, present here. Oops. I accidentally pressed. Oops, my bad. Damn it, I did not mean to do that. Shit. Alright, but present what exactly? because you're on the right track so far. You're on the right track. Just try to think. Try to think. What would be used to No. Listen to me. So think. What would be used to label a person's death, like how they died? Where do you think that would be labeled at? The envelope, that's correct. That's correct. The autopsy report, you're right.
Objection!
Oh, really? Strangled, you say? That's odd. Duh, normal customers only choke on borscht. No, I mean, this report shows that the victim died of a blow to the head. Miss Orley, really now? Did you witness the crime? Looking at this picture, it doesn't seem like he was hit. He's still wearing his hat and everything. Yet it is a fact that he was hit, Your Honor. You just have to think, Tio. You just have to think things through carefully. That's really all it boils down to. Here's a photo we took of the victim with his hat off during the investigation. Well, that's quite shocking, isn't it? This head certainly was hit. Crime scene photo 2. But I have seen it happen. The defendant, he lunged at the victim, his neck. Oh, really, Miss Orley? I think I've caught you in your own lie this time. Justice? I admire your enthusiasm, but perhaps you should think this through once more. What? What do you mean? I found a contradiction. There's one thing in her testimony that troubles me. Very well. It seems we should continue the cross-examination. There's such a thing as thinking too much. This horse is dead. Let's stop beating it. There's such a thing as thinking out loud too much too. That night, customer asked me to do cards for a game, so I think some part of this has changed. It was cold. The victim, he plays with hat on his locket. Then the last hit is done when something else happened. After the defendant tries to strangle the victim, he hit him with bottle. Okay. So, there is another contradiction here. The hint that I will give you, if my memory is serving me correctly, which I'm pretty sure it is. Wait, So it is between, the contradiction is between statement number 3, which is this one, statement 3, and statement 6, which is this one. So it's between these 3. You sound you sound like a robot, and not the first time I've been told I sound like that. Not the first time. So, where do you think which statement do you guys think the contradiction is in? Statement 3, 4, or 5? Wait. Yeah. Sorry. Press that one. His locket? We already heard about this one. So, your only option... So, the options now are to... So, our options are to press... Or to... Not to press. Are to present either on this statement... This one... Or this one. So which one are you guys thinking on? Which statement do you think holds a contradiction or a lie? Present here? Okay, so what do you thinking we should present? Now, remember this statement. She's saying that that the victim plays with his locket at his neck. So bear that in mind. And remember, in case you guys are confused, the victim is the one who was killed. So, what are you guys thinking? So, what do you think we should present? The picture... Oh. I think you're talking... oh, yeah, you're talking about this picture. You know, there was one curious part in her testimony, just like Mr. Gavin said. I'm sticking with the envelope. It was actually not the envelope because we presented that last time. You don't want to. There's no reason to present that again. But what does it mean, Mr. Justice? Would you care to explain what it is you're thinking so intensely about? Recall her testimony, Your Honor. The victim plays with his hand on locket at his neck, I believe she said. I hope you aren't about to raise an objection to the witness's grammar. No, but look at this photograph. Do you see a locket on the victim's neck? Well done, Justice. I'm impressed. I knew you'd be able to handle this. But what does it mean? If we are to believe this witness's testimony as is, then the locket disappeared following the victim's death? Lockets don't just disappear, Your Honor. It's quite simple when you think about it, actually. If the locket is gone, someone must have taken it off, no? Taken it off? Wait, you don't mean... The defendant wasn't strangling the victim at all. He was taking off his locket. Wouldn't that explain it? Ah. Defendant, what do you have to say to this? Oh, hi, Phoenix. Say, yes? I just noticed this, but you have something hanging around your neck, don't you? Oh, you mean this? Yes, it's a locket. with the photograph inside. A photo of my daughter. Come again? Mr. Wright, you have a daughter? We confirmed it at the time of the arrest. The picture in the locket is indeed Mr. Wright's daughter. So Mr. Wright has a locket too. Why don't I buy that this is just a coincidence? Well now, if the results of this poker game led to the murder, perhaps we should hear a bit more about the outcome of the game. Further testimony won't be necessary, Your Honor. It's clear the defendant lost. Badly. Miss Orley, you will testify to the court about the game played between the victim and the defendant. Da. Alright, chat. You guys locked in? Because we about to expose some lies. Let's do this. Serious competition. The game began with 3,500 point in chips for each man. House chips come in two sizes, small and large. The one who was winning, it was victim. For last hand, defendant play with all chips on table and lose. The moment loss was decided, defendant grabs bottle from table and the rest is history. Indeed, looking at this picture, it does seem to be a one-sided game. As the court knows, poker was the defendant's life. Failure must have been a bitter pill to swallow. How many times have I heard these words? I done it in a fit of rage, Your Honor, and now I regret it. A common tale, but true. Methinks the judge watches too many old court movies. Mr. Wright said he hasn't lost in 7 years, so this testimony must be wrong. Alright, chat, you guys ready? Let's do this. The game began with 3,500 point in chips for each man. What are you guys thinking here? Do you guys think that we should just move on, or press, or present? Are those the usual starting points? Were any special rules used? No, not special rules. Usual game, usual rules. If each man began with 3,500 points, then the total would be, likely 7,000 points. Please, this isn't calculus, it's not even long division. House chips come in two sizes, small and large. What are you guys thinking on this one? Present what? The picture that has the cards. Okay. Objection! This evidence clearly reveals a contradiction in that statement, Your Honor. How exactly are the evidence and the statement just now related? They aren't, are they? Not at all. Mr. Justice, please think the facts over before making accusations. Ouch. I don't think that won me any points with the judge. Yeah, well, I mean, this is Japanese law, and they have a really high conviction rate, so the defendants are Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna say any more than that. And you have no and chat, you guys have no reason to feel bad for making a mistake. This is all just a game, and we're just trying to have fun. That's literally all we're trying to do. So you have no reason to feel bad if you make a mistake. Are the chips in this photo all the chips that were used? Duh, of course. Something's fishy with these chips. Should I press harder? What are you guys thinking? Should we question her further or back off? No. Ooh, press harder. This is a split decision. This is a split decision. I'm gonna go with no for now, but if we have to return to it, then we have to return to it. Yeah. It's her nature to be jumpy and suspicious looking. The one who was winning, it was Victim. So, on this one, what are you guys thinking? You're telling me that Mr. Right, undefeated for 7 whole years, was losing? It must have been the most unlucky day for him. I am glad I did not take other picture of him. It would break camera, certainly. The chips they went always to the victim side of the table. So you're telling us it was a one-sided game. One-sided. And for last hand, defendant play with all chips on table and lose. So, what are you guys thinking? Press. Last hand? It was largest point of any hand. The defendant's hand, it was excellent. He tried to use it to take victory from behind. It appears that bottle in the defendant and the victim's hands are in this picture. That is truly an excellent hand. However, so was the victim's. One with the highest number wins, so defendant loses. The victim, Mr. Smith, had a stronger hand than the defendant and crushed him. I believe that explains what occurred that night. Once cards laid down on the table, it happened. The moment the loss was decided, defendant grabbed the bottle from behind and... What are you guys thinking with this one? Press or present on this one? Present what? Excuse me. Present the bottle. Your Honor, what do you think about the witness's statement? I'm not sure I follow you. It clearly contradicts the, I thought. You don't sound very sure, Mr. Justice. Objection overruled. I don't think that won me any points with the judge. The only one that we haven't done yet was... We didn't, we had an option to press harder, but I decided to lay off. I think it was this one? No, it wasn't. Which one was it? I think it was this one? Yeah, so let's try pressing harder. Maybe you could explain a bit about these chips? Explain? Poker chips are poker chips. They're not fishing chips. Not a chip off the old block. Not a motorcycle chip. Thanks. Now that I've pressed her, I better ask something. What are these chips worth? Are they in dollars or rubles even? Right. As I've been saying before, it was game, not gambling. Hard perhaps for capitalists to understand. Two types of chips, 100-point chips and 1,000-point chip. It is not money, da. Justice? Sir? Don't you find her comment interesting? In more ways than one, sir. I'd have it added to her testimony myself. Well, does the defense want the witness to add it to her testimony? We're gonna have to. Yes, I do think this deserves further scrutiny. Add it to the testimony. I wish I knew where I was going with this. Very well, witness, if you would be so kind. Da, Your Honor. One kind of chip is worth 100 points. Other kind is worth 1,000 points. Two kinds in all. Mr. Gavin said this testimony is important. To be honest, I have no idea why. Mr. Justice? Do the court a favor and think of what you want to say before raising your hand. We are not in kindergarten. Sorry, I'm fine. I better have to think of something to ask, and quick. The two types of chips. Da? The small ones are 100 and the big ones 1,000, right? Right, of course. Don't waste our time. Is that all? Yeah. Great, Mr. Gavin made me stop her, and now I'm the one who looks dumb. Oh, Justice. Please try not to embarrass me like that. Who, me? There's a clear contradiction in the information you have in your hands. What? It's a simple matter of calculation. Go on, try it. We're not in kindergarten after all. Calculation. So, the hint that I will give you guys is that the evidence we need to present contradicts this particular statement. That is what I will say. Now, the question now becomes if you guys can determine which evidence it is to present. Think you guys can figure it out? And remember, don't be upset if you give a wrong answer. Don't be upset about that. This is simply just a game and we're trying to have fun. That's literally all it is. So, present what? Picture, the picture that has the card. Objection! You sure it was the victim who won? Absolutely sure? It seems our new attorney is a bit confused. A glance at the picture is enough to tell you who won, if you're not in kindergarten. Just for safety's sakes, could you explain the problem to the court? Of course, Your Honor. In this photo, I see small chips and I see large chips. Tell me, which were worth 1,000 points? Why, the big ones, of course. Duh. Oh, I thought so too. But then the totals don't add up. The totals? Let's review what the witness told us. Each man started with 3,500 points in chips. And the combined total value of the chips was 7,000 points. Yes, if my calculations are correct, let's see, 3 plus 1, carry the 5. They are, Your Honor. Now, look at this photo that allegedly shows all the chips. If the big chips are worth 1,000 points and the small chips are worth 100, and you add them up, how much is it? Do it yourself, you aren't in kindergarten. 10,600 points. The chips don't add up. This clearly contradicts the witness's testimony. But why? How could this be? Exactly, Justice. Now that you know the what, you must determine the why. Right. There's only one possibility to explain this contradiction. Chat, what are you guys thinking? So, starting points were wrong, chip count was wrong, or both players were right. Starting point was wrong. If the total combined points at the table were 10,600, then each man started the night with 5,300 points. 5,300? That's a rather half-baked score at which to start a game. Justice, would different starting points really change anything? Eh? It seems the defense's objection is even more half-baked than the score. And there's only one possible way to explain this contradiction. Okay, so luckily you don't get penalized for that. Luckily. So, it's not the first answer, so it's either chip count was wrong or both players were right. Both were right. Each man began the game with 3,500 points. If all the chips were indeed shown in this photograph, then there can only be one answer. Well, what is it? The value of the chips was the other way around. What? Want to know what I think? The small chips are worth 1,000 points, not the big ones. Madness! Utter madness! Show me the photograph of the chips again. There are 6 small chips and 10 large chips. Why, that does make 7,000 points when you add them up. Excellent work, Justice. It's almost as though you figured it out by yourself. Well, I'm glad I was the one who said it. But wait! The value of the chips may be different, but that doesn't change nothing. Indeed, the victim did have the larger number of chips, still. Ah, exactly. If the small chips are 1,000 points and the large ones are 100, let's do a little math. Add up the points for each side of the table. The victim, Mr. Smith, had 2,900, and the defendant had 4,100. Well, now, it seems that Mr. Wright was winning that night after all. That's impossible! My client had even less reason to kill the victim. After all, he was winning! Yeah! Now, Miss Orley, you must have known the true value of the chips. Since you were there at the scene of the crime, weren't you? Order! It appears our defendant has lost his motive, and Mr. Wright's supposed defeat never happened. We must now ask ourselves whether we can trust this witness's testimony. Excuse me? What is it, Miss Orley? I did not want to be saying this, but actually, you see, See what, Miss Orley? What do we see? In the last hand, there was cheat. A cheat? You don't mean a trick? Wait, or do you mean a scam? They're all the same thing. Yes, there was cheat in the last hand. This is why game ends with chip as they are. Great. Just great. Especially of lying, now cheating. Well, this case certainly has taken a turn. For the interesting. Witness, you will please testify to the court. Tell us about this cheating in the final hand. Alright, you guys locked in? Oh, bye. I need oh, you have to eat, but go come back later. Alright. The final hand. In last hand, both men had full house. There was 4 of each card in deck from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. The next moment, game becomes argument. The defendant's trick was exposed. He took the bottle in his hand. Poor Mr. Smith. Miss Orley, why did you not tell the court about this from the very beginning? I thought I smelled a cover up there. Well, folks, it's time to throw back the covers. A full house is a very high-scoring hand. Not easy to make in my experience. That alone is enough to suspect less than scrupulous tactics. Mr. Gavin? What's a full house? Lawyers these days. You don't know your poker? I can't say this bodes well for your case or career. What is this, some kind of secret court poker ring? Justice? You know the terms one pair, two pair, and three of a kind, yes? Yeah, no problem. Two cards with the same number makes a pair, and three makes three of a kind. Good, now picture a hand with one pair and one three of a kind. That's a full house. That doesn't sound very easy to make. You can see each player's hand in this photo. Wow, they both have full houses. We forget there's an easy way to make a full house and go undefeated for 7 years. You cheat. The defense may cross-examine the witness. If he did cheat on the last hand, that still leaves one important question. Mr. Wright lost that hand. Who's ever heard of a professional con man losing when they cheat? Alright, you guys locked in? Let's do this. The last hand. So, the last hand, both men had full house. Excuse me. Just how hard is it to make a full house anyway? It is quite hard, Doc. It is making a pair and three of a kind at the same time. I guess that's right. Very difficult to be sure. You can take my word as the poker head of courtroom number 3. Very difficult, Don, but it's not impossible. Okay, full house card. The sign of questioning, a waste of time. There is 4 of each card in deck, from ace to king. Four of each card, you say? Duh. There's 1 spade, 1 diamond, 1 heart, and 1 club for each card. It is an interesting fact that this number 4 comes from number of seasons. Huh, you don't say. Ah, and did you know that the cards are numbered 1 through 13? Add all the cards up and you have 364 days, a year. Huh, you don't say. Isn't that one day short? That's why each death has two jokers. They say the second joker stands for leap year. Thus, you have a perfect representation of the year all in a deck of cards. Huh, you don't say. We're gonna be in this problem for a year if it keeps going like this. If you look at both men's hand, cheat is more obvious. How was it clear? Well, the defendant, he played a fifth ace. A fifth ace? I still remember both hands very well. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. And Mr. Wright's 2. Obviously, cheating was afoot. Or perhaps I should say a hand. Your Honor, perhaps this could be added to the testimony without Mr. Payne's joke. Very well. The witness will add this detail to her testimony, please. Mr. Smith's hand had 3 aces and Mr. Wright's 2. It's 5 aces in all. What are you guys thinking here? Press or present? What are you guys thinking? A fifth ace? Duh, it should not exist, no? I still remember both hands very well. Mr. Smith's hand had 3 aces, and Mr. Wright only had 2. Whoa, where did this card come from then? Perhaps we should ask the defendant that very question. Adding cards to a deck is no less serious. Wait, to a deck is no less serious a taboo than forging evidence in a court of law. Now, perhaps it's time for you to say something, Justice? You bet. I have no intention of staying quiet. Not me. No, sir. I better find some contradicting evidence. Fast. He took... I think the contradicting evidence has to be here. I honestly don't remember exactly where this one is. Mr. Smith's hand had 3 aces and Mr. Wright's 2. Where the hell? Yeah, I'm really confused too as to where to present. Let's question this a little bit more. Do you recall what the men were arguing about? I believe so. The victim, he showed, "You are a cheater," and then the defendant showed something like, "I have objection." Shouting objection, eh? All habits are hard to break. First he bluffed his way through the courtroom, now he bluffs his way through life. However, Mr. Wright lost the hand. That seems to cast the shadow of a doubt on Mr. Smith. Humiliation from losing even when cheating. That is what set fire to defendant's heart. So what did the Fleming defendant do next? He took bottle in his hand. Poor Mr. Smith. By bottle, you're referring to this? Duh. The defendant uses this bottle to... This behavior is an admission of cheating by the defendant. But why use a grape juice bottle? You'd be surprised at what can be used as a weapon. This juice is recommended drink of Borscht Ball Club, da? This year's vintage is remarkable for its hefty flavor. Hefty enough to brain a grown man, apparently. First she says it was a serious competition. Now she says there was cheating. Justice, notice anything odd? Her testimony keeps changing. Now she's saying the defendant cheated. Actually, yes, I have noticed that. Have you guys noticed that too? Let's get the truth about this cheating first, shall we? Right, leave it to me. Last hand, both men had full house. There is 4 of each card, from ace to king. Mr. Smith had 3 aces and Mr. Wright had 2. It has to be this. It has to. I don't see anything else that I could possibly present. It has to be this. Okay, we got it. It appears the witness is mistaken. Mistaken? But my name... Look, this piece of evidence clearly contradicts what you said in your testimony. That's the photo of the chips, is it not? Justice, perhaps you ought to explain your point in a way that the judge can comprehend. In other words, use your finger to point out your point. Yes, please point out the contradiction in this photo. What particular point contradicts the witness's testimony? It has to be the ace. Or no, the king, sorry. It has to be the king. It has to. You're gonna present it. It's over here, of course. It's where? Where's it you were pointing? Where? Good question. We've already heard today on the dangers of bluffing. Sorry, Your Honor. I better rethink this. Crap. Wait, is it on the... I think you want to have it directly on the ace, I think. Wait, it's here, it's where... Crap. Do we point out the contradiction in the witness testimony? I know that it's one of the kings, but which one? Let me try. It has to be it has to be one of them. Aha! There we go. I had it on the wrong ace, or the wrong king. Dang it! Sorry. Miss Orley, in your testimony, you made the following claim. Mr. Smith's... that one just cut out before I could read it all. But, as you can clearly see, the victim's hand only held 2 aces. Well, maybe the witness was simply confused. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand that held the 3rd ace in question. Take another look at the evidence. As you can see, the defendant also had 2 aces in his hand. Where's the 5th ace? I see cheating alright, and it's going on right here in this courtroom. 2 aces in each player's hand does make 4 aces total. Hardly proof of cheating. Wait, please. It is true. I have seen it, the 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you. That's odd. She must be lying, yet she's the most sincere I've seen her all day. You're right to trust your instincts, Mr. Gavin. Who knows what lies in store for us in the trial ahead. Your Honor, if I may, I have a suggestion. What might that be, Mr. Gavin? If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards. The cards? Mr. Payne? Yes? The players' hands that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defense would like to request that the cards be shown to the court. Very well, the prosecution will submit this evidence. Which will you examine? The victim's cards or the defendant's cards? If these cards don't prove cheating what's going on, nothing will. Now, which of these hands is more suspicious? Chat, what are you guys thinking? Should we look at the victim's hand or the defendant's hand? What are you guys thinking? Look at the defendant's hand. Let's start with Mr. Wright's hand. The defense would like to view the defendant's hand. Very well, Mr. Payne, your evidence? Yes, Your Honor. Well, now, let's see what we have here. Right, sir. When examining evidence, be sure to view it from all sides and angles. Try using the dials on the evidence viewer. This should give you a better perspective on the case. Okay, let's do this. Cards in the back are red. For some reason, I thought that they were using blue cards in the final hand. Didn't you, Mr. Gavin? Well, have the defense found anything they would like to share with the court? Not unless you count utter confusion. Let's best examine the victim's cards next. Of course, you can always give these cards another look. Let's examine the other hand. I think, yeah, there was nothing there, so we have to examine the other hand. Your Honor, the defense requests time to examine Mr. Smith's hand. Granted, but make it quick, Mr. Justice. Don't worry, justice is always swift. Aha! What do we have here? What? Your Honor, look at this. One of the victim's cards. The back is a different color. Eh? What? That's impossible. But I put that card in Wright's hand. What was that, Miss Orley? I really said I have, Your Honor. Mr. Gavin, yes? Tell me, what is the easiest way to cheat at poker? To cheat? I'll tell you. One merely needs a friend. A comrade, shall we say. The dealer. Ah. Wait, so you mean this witness, Miss Orley? She's the cheater. A professional, I'd wager. Order! Focus, Justice. Time to take advantage of her. I mean, of her mistakes. Nice save there, Apollo. Your Honor, please recall the testimony we just heard. That's impossible. But I put that card in Wright's hand. Ergo, Miss Olga Orley conspired to cheat. Not with my client, but with the victim, Mr. Shady Smith. Not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Therefore, it's not hard to imagine an altercation between her and the victim. What? Wait, you don't mean... The defense isn't accusing the witness, Miss Olga Orley, of murder, are you? Time for justice. There were 3 people in the room at the time of the incident. And if Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means I am. The defense accuses the witness, Miss Olga Orley, of murder. Okay, I'm going to be completely honest. That is one of my favorite scenes in this game. That is like one of my favorites. I love that. Mr. Payne, where is your witness, Miss Olga Orley? It appears she has lost, consciousness, Your Honor. Mr. Justice? Your Honor? It seems you have presented a new possibility to the court. One suggesting a connection between the witness and the victim, Mr. Smith. And that means this court cannot pronounce a verdict for the defendant at this time. What? I did it. I held out. I see no point in prolonging the trial this day. The prosecution will need to make further inquiries. Mr. Wright? You can't end the trial here, Your Honor. Not yet. What nonsense is the defense spewing now? Think. One of the cards had a different colored back. Don't you wonder what it means? Oh, what are you doing, Mr. Wright? Raising objections right when you're about to get off the hook? Ridiculous. Mr. Payne, you of all people should know, Mr. Wright has a talent for the ridiculous. Perhaps we should get to the bottom of things. Let's clear up the facts about the game that fateful night. As we said before, we alternated between 2 decks of cards that night. That was said before. The 2 decks at the club have different colored backs, blue and red. 1 color per deck. Why use different color backs? If we use the same color, the 2 decks might get mixed. You used different colors and they still got mixed. We used the red deck for the last game. I see, but that's odd. For some reason, I have the impression that you were using the blue cards. Yeah, me too. I'm sure someone said something about blue cards. Whatever. In the end, one card of the wrong color got into the mix, which means there was cheating. Yes, a card slipped into the deck would seem to indicate cheating, yet this card raises two serious questions. Apollo? Yes? Let's consider the first question, shall we? Think. In the last game, when was the card swapped? When? There are three broad possibilities here. It could have been before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder. Well, yeah, thanks for the news bulletin, Mr. Wright. Of course it was Oh? It might be as simple as you think, Mr. Payne. Or it might not be. I'd like to hear what Apollo thinks first. When do you think the cards were swapped? When was the card swapped into the deck? What are you guys thinking? Was it swapped before, during, or after? So I want to hear what you guys are thinking before I give my decision. I'm guessing during the murder. Well, weren't they swapped during the murder? During the murder? Tell me exactly when is that? Huh? Well, the very moment of the act, I guess. Would that be the moment the cards were shown? Or perhaps the moment when the cheater was revealed? Or maybe the very moment the bottle came down on Mr. Smith's head. Could I have a moment? That moment could cost you this case. Sorry, let me rethink this. When was the card swapped into the deck? So that was the wrong answer. So it was either before or after. So, what are you guys thinking? Before the murder or after the murder? Before? Well, it must have happened before the murder. You mean during the game? I wonder. Huh? Why? Think. When you're playing poker, which side of the cards face your opponent? The backs. Now something the poker head of courtroom number 3 would be likely to miss. Sorry, let me think about this some more. So it was after. Perhaps it happened after the murder. What's that? Ridiculous. What's the point of cheating after the hands have been shown? That's silly. Yes, but tell me, how do you swap cards during the game? I'll take silly over impossible. Take it from me, son. There's a lot of silly in this world, but very little impossible. Oh, even when the backs of the cards are a different color, if you pulled that during the game, you'd be caught in no time. Ah, quite true. That would mean that the blue card in question was swapped after the hands were shown, after the murder. Okay, this is going past silly and straight on to crazy. Hi, I'm back. Hey, Tio. I ask again, what's the point of cheating after the game's over? Who would do that? Who indeed? That's one of the mysteries before us. There's another? Yes, a simple yet decisive question must be asked. Who swapped the red card for a blue card? Who? The game and murder is done. The victim is dead. Only two remain in the room alive, that is. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and our witness, Olga Orley. Okay, so who was it that swapped the red cards for a blue? So, who do you guys think swapped the cards? Was it Phoenix, Olga, or someone else? Who do you think swapped the cards? Thinking it's Olga Orley. Why, it must have been Olga Orley who swapped the cards. She was trying to cover up evidence of the cheating. That does make some sense. Sorry, but there's a problem with that explanation. Huh? The swapped cards was from the wrong deck. Yes, a blue card was stuck into a red hand. Mixing a card from the wrong deck when the backs are different colors. Remember that you're talking about Olga Orley. She was the dealer. Do you really think she would make such a novice mistake? Actually, I have trouble imagining even the judge making that mistake. Give it a little more thought, Apollo. Right. Okay, so who was it that swapped the red card for a blue? So it's not Olga Orley. So it's either Phoenix Wright himself or someone else. Who do you think it is? You think it's someone else? The one who swapped the cards wasn't Mr. Wright, of course. And, well, it doesn't seem like it could have been Olga Orley either. What are you suggesting? That's hardly a logical conclusion, I'll admit. As the defense, I think it only makes sense for you to name Miss Orley at this point. Yes, I know. But she was the one who dealt the cards, right? I just can't imagine she would make the mistake of swapping the wrong color card. And if the card was swapped during the game, it'd be obvious. Something you'd like to share with the court, Mr. Wright? Oh, my apologies, Your Honor. I was just thinking how much fun all of this is. Fun? How about confusing? I have no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor. If the one who swapped the cards wasn't the defendant, and it wasn't Miss Orley, then who was it? Yeah, well, that's the question, isn't it? Precisely. Huh? I believe we're about to see this case take a new direction. A new direction? We'll find that, indeed, after the murder, someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hand, and that someone made two critical mistakes. I'm sure you're going to tell us that the first was swapping the wrong color card, because the one who did the swap didn't know two colors of cards were being used. The other mistake was the number on the card. Right, the person replaced the fifth ace with a king. I'm sure whoever swapped it wasn't expecting there to be a fifth ace after all. All they knew was that the game had been won with a full house. So they picked up a king from the table and swapped it in. But there's one problem. According to Arcade's record, this person doesn't exist. True, not until now. But you have to admit the possibility of a fourth person. Though it's more than a possibility, there was someone else there that night at the scene of the crime. What? I believe the judge spoke truthfully earlier. You do make trials ridiculous, Mr. Wright. The trial has proceeded on one central assumption, namely that at the time of the incident, there were only 3 people in that room. I believe this new evidence, shall we say, overturns that assumption. The problem is that you choose to conceal this information from the court. I suppose that it's a problem, yes. Court is adjourned for a brief recess. Mr. Gavin, I'll see you in my chambers during this recess. Certainly, Your Honor. Very well, the trial will resume in 20 minutes. April 20th, 11:52, District Court Defendant Lobby Number 3. That was quite unexpected, Mr. Wright. Suddenly claimed there was another person at the scene of the crime like that. I must ask, is it the truth? Well now, I think you would know the answer to that. Being mysterious, are we? Sadly, I have no time for mysteries. I'd only ask that you leave the defending to your defense in the future. Otherwise, I cannot guarantee the outcome. I see you haven't mellowed out one bit, Kristoff. Justice? Yes, sir? The judge has summoned me to his chambers, so carry on without me. You did well, Apollo. Can I ask you something? Sure. That locket you wear, is that really yours, Mr. Wright? You're wondering about the victim's disappearing locket. Here, you can take a look at it. There's a picture of my daughter in there. I'm just surprised to hear you had a daughter. Most people are. Perhaps you'll meet her one of these days. One more question. The one who cheated that night, was it you? What do you think? Huh? You know what happened 7 years ago, what I did. It's not unreasonable for you to think that I might cheat. I never, honest, but it is odd that he managed to go undefeated for 7 whole years. Want to know something? There's only one game where you can be dealt bad cards all night and still win. Poker. Eh? You see, poker is all about reading your opponent. In that way, it's a lot like a court case. Poker is like trial law. Figure out what your opponent is thinking and you win. Well, yeah, that's harder than it sounds. I think not. Try as they might to conceal it, everyone reveals reveals their true thoughts in the end. Their body language can become a valuable source of information. You're kidding. That witness, for instance, Miss Orley, she would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? No. Come on, who noticed that? Words, habits, twitches. It's all information for the reading. That's the secret to winning, Apollo. Someone taught me that, and now I pass the secrets on to you. But I'm not worthy. I mean, there's no way I'll pick up on those signals. No, you can do it. Huh? You just don't know it yet. What's he talking about? But you will, soon. Almost forgot one more thing about this case. You should know I haven't told the truth to anyone yet. What? I knew it. I have my reasons. Of course, all shall be revealed. And Apollo, I need you to be there, defending me. I need your power. My, power? I had no idea my cords of steel were that special. It's time. The real trial begins now. Do your best. To be continued. Favor progress? Yes. Although, unfortunately, guys, we are out of time. It is just about 9:30 for me, and as you guys know, I end my streams at 9:30. So, unfortunately, we are out of time. I absolutely love this game. If you guys want me to continue this, then obviously show your guys' support by sharing this around, giving it a thumbs up, and all of that good stuff. But until tomorrow morning, which we're actually going to be playing a requested game actually, and I believe I know exactly what it is because I looked it up when I wasn't streaming. So I believe I know what it is. So until tomorrow morning, guys, I am Gamers Unite signing off. Game on!